rotate. So you normally have it in this direction. You don't do it in this direction like this. And we went like this, yeah. No, down. Yeah. So this can't go any lower, right? This is the lowest it can go. Okay. So then obviously to have the mark in such a way that it's in front. So this stand can't go this section. Let me see if I can get it. So can you fix this? Maybe? Fix this so that doesn't fall. Yeah. Keep it like that.
फिक्रों से फारिग हुआ ये दिल, जब दिल को तुमसे जोड़ा। एक तू ही वो शख्स है जिसने दिल को कभी ना तोड़ा। फिक्रों से फारिग हुआ ये दिल, जब दिल को तुमसे जोड़ा। एक तू ही वो शख्स है जिसने दिल को कभी ना तोड़ा। फिक्रों से फारिग हुआ ये दिल। तू खफा ना होता मुझसे, ना करता बेवफाई। तेरा ही तो बनकर मैंने सारी खुशियाँ पाई। तू खफा ना होता मुझसे, ना करता बेवफाई। तेरा ही तो बनकर मैंने सारी खुशियाँ पाई। राहों को तुमने आकर मेरी मंजिल की ओर है मोड़ा। फिक्रों से फारिग हुआ ये दिल। से है लाखों शिकवे, तुमको शिकायत नहीं है। तेरे जैसा बड़े दिल वाला देखा न मैंने कहीं है। दुनिया को मुझसे है लाखों शिकवे, तुमको शिकायत नहीं है। तेरे जैसा बड़े दिल वाला देखा न मैंने कहीं है। सागर सुखों का दिया है तुमने, मांगा था मैंने थोड़ा। फिक्रों से फारिग हुआ ये दिल। बनकर अच्छा वक्त मेरा तो संग संग है मेरे चलता। तू ही मेरा नेक करम है, तू ही है मेरी सफलता। बनकर अच्छा वक्त मेरा तो संग संग है मेरे चलता। तू ही मेरा नेक करम है, तू ही है मेरी सफलता। मुश्किल समय में तुमने कभी भी मुझको अकेले न छोड़ा। फिक्रों से फारिग हुआ ये दिल, जब दिल को तुमसे जोड़ा। एक तू ही वो शख्स है जिसने दिल को कभी ना तोड़ा। फिक्रों
Om Shanti. And although it's chilly out here, but a warm, warm welcome to all our brothers and sisters from around the country. We couldn't get the temperature warmer, but we at least got the sun out, okay? So it's really lovely that we all gather together here for our annual retreat. It's always a wonderful opportunity for us to connect with each other, and I think also to take that deep sustenance. The times we are in now, we know that Baba really wants us to fill ourselves with that power and that internal sort of stamina, spiritual stamina that we need, so that not only do we remain stable, but that we can offer our energy and love and support to the world around us. Ushabet, come. Come. So on behalf of the NCT and especially from Gauteng, just a very, very warm welcome. And of course, it's so lovely to have with us. I was thinking, there was a Prince Charles, and then there was a King Charles, but we have our Charliebhai. So we're very happy to have Charliebhai with us, and I think really the feeling when we were inviting him and even when we were planning for the program was that what is needed so much is for the heart to feel that contentment and that sense of joy and that feeling of closeness to Baba. And so we thought the best instrument to facilitate that for us was Charliebhai. So welcome Charliebhai to South Africa. Come.
Come, Ushabet. Om Shanti. And from me, a very, very warm welcome to everyone. You know, this annual Southern African retreat is really the only opportunity that this family gets to be together in a bigger group like this. So it's very, very special. And I don't know what you feel, but this theme of the soul remembers, the angel emerges, awakens. It's very beautiful, isn't it? And it feels like yesterday that we were together in KZN, and yet the world is a different place to what it was a year ago. And it's become very natural just to know that things are very unpredictable. So it's wonderful that we take these opportunities while we can to come together. And some of you have come from quite far, Mozambique, Swaziland, Botswana, and of course South Africa. Cape Town is far, yes. So a special welcome to those from across the border, because you are the ones that really make this a Southern African retreat. And I just have one thought. There are a few people who are here for the first time. Would you like to stand up so the family can see you? Those who are here for the first time, very warm, warm welcome. Ah, there we go. Welcome, welcome. So, and as Pratibha Ben said, it is so lovely to have our Charliebhai with us, because already you can just feel the warmth of family in the atmosphere. So enjoy your time, take the opportunity to go deep, to make that connection with Baba so deep and meaningful. And of course, lots of fun as well. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, and good evening to each one of you. And so much was already said, but I feel that the part of the retreat that makes it so special is the contribution from each one being present. And as you go deeper within and bring those jewels out, you actually strengthen this retreat. So yes, our Charliebhai is the instrument and the instigator, perhaps, to emerge all of that. But if we use every session in a very earnest way and go deep using this physical space and then the space of the family, that we can actually really make a high jump. So it's not that you are just sitting here and being participants. Actually, it's that we have all come to contribute to this retreat. And when we do it with that kind of energy, then our presence in class, the little things that allows us to be in class and do participate in the workshops or whatever is available, and to be present as well. And it's very beautiful to sort of make a conscious choice to retreats, or what they call in India bhattis. And a bhatti is a furnace that actually allows a clay brick to become a solid brick that can hold a very powerful roof. And so if we're going to become this canopy, we need to also bake. But sometimes when our intellect keeps going outside, we break the intensity of that furnace, that pressure and heat that needs to culminate to a powerful point for change to take place. So don't think that you attend a class and then go and have tea and then go and have lunch and come back again and do this and do that. If you do that, you're not part of the retreat. It's really for you to think about how you bring your thoughts, words and deeds in actually creating this bhatti. If anyone cools down within the bhatti, you cool down the overall pressure of the whole system. So have that powerful thought that as you enter into this space, you actually have become part of a very valuable contribution. There were quite a few people that asked us if they could do a day visit, and we actually didn't allow them to come for the day visit because they bring in an external energy and then share news from the outside. So also, there's no need for us to share things of the outside for this next few hours, which is very little anyway. From today till Sunday morning, it'll just fly. So if you can have little contact with your cell phone screen, will also be a very important part. Message who you want to and connect with, and tell them you are in a space of silence, and then see the magic. So a very warm invitation for you not to just be part of this retreat in terms of a participant, observer, but to actually become the participant and contribute to this very special bhatti. So thank you, Charliebhai, for being that special instrument. And definitely you pulled people because it's so cold here, and yet still souls have managed to come. So it's a very special energy that you bring for all of us. And yes, it's very beautiful to see so many faces. And I know that it's going to be very beautiful. So thank you, and a warm welcome once again.
Thank you. So now we're going to give an opportunity for some artistic display of the family. So I'm going to ask, it's not a dance, it's not a song, but I'm going to ask our brother Charles to share a poem of welcome. The other brother Charles. Where's brother Charles? Where's brother Charles? Oh, please go fetch brother Charles from the kitchen. Okay. In the interim, I'm going to ask Sister Shalda to hand over a beautiful bouquet to Brother Charlie on behalf of all of us. Brother Charlie. And then Brother Drito, please come. And the African way is to welcome you with a blanket, brother, to keep you warm. And then Charliebhai to share a few words of welcome, please.
Shanti, everyone, and a very warm welcome to everyone. I'm at a loss of words, and I'll tell you why just now, but a very special welcome to Charliebhai. As Charliebhai sat down and we were all here, I think everyone melted into soul consciousness. The silence was, you could feel the silence. Thank you so much, Charliebhai, for your presence here. We're so blessed to have one of Baba's very special chariots. And really, Charliebhai will take us to the next level. So, Charliebhai, we're really glad to have you here. And it is just so special to have you. And thank you for making the time available for us. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the retreat. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Charliebhai. So, our other brother Charles is not yet here. So I'll ask Charliebhai to just share a few words. And this evening we thought that he could share with us how did he fall in love with God and his journey of deepening that experience of love for God. Thank you.
That'd be great. Om Shanti. And thank you so much for your lovely welcome. And I'm really so happy to be in this beautiful gathering of the Divine Family. I think it must be 10 or 11 years since I've been here last time. And I'm not just saying it, but I really do feel a close connection with the family here in South Africa. It's always so lovely to be here. And I should really extend all the love and good wishes from your next door neighbours in Australia, only 15 hours flight away. We're still next door neighbours. And when I think Pratibha was saying about, she called me Prince Charles. Niverbai, right from day one, when I came in Gyan, he'd always say, "Hello, Prince Charles." And when Prince Charles became the king, I was having breakfast with him. And you know, Niverbai was sort of in slow motion most of the time. And he was taking his meal. And he looked at me, gave me drishti for about a minute and said, "Well, should I call you King Charles now?" I said, "No, thanks." Anyway, one thing as I was sitting there, I did come to a national retreat, and I think it was in Pretoria, was that right? Peter Maritzburg, that's right. And my memory was we had a cultural program, and there was a very lovely brother who was emceeing. And the whole of the retreat, he'd been hearing the sisters call me Charliebhai, 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 Charliebhai. So when the cultural program began, he said, and now we'll hear from Charlie Bear. He thought they were calling me Charlie Bear. That label stuck for a little while, actually. But anyway.
I'm remembering one other label you received in the Pope Charlie.
That's true. Anyway, I think it's so important to come together at this time, seeing our world, and, just being here for a few minutes. Do you feel the power in the gathering? And I think when Baba's children come together, we invoke a special feeling and we all get uplifted. So we'll enjoy traffic control. Traffic control? Okay. If anyone asks me what has sustained me in this life, I always feel it's Baba's love. It's Baba's love that gave me spiritual birth, and I think right till this day it's Baba's love that sustained me. And when we pass through all the challenges we do in this journey, this amazing journey with Baba, it's his love that sort of nurtures and massages the heart when we go through those challenging times. But I think about 7 years ago, I was invited to an interfaith conference in in Lahore, in the north of Pakistan. And I went to take leave from Daddy Janki. And, you know, in those days, Daddy would sit and she had her Toli and blessings, and I'd been chatting to her about things, and she was fiddling around trying to get me a Toli and blessing. She said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Pakistan," and she kept fiddling around. Then suddenly she went like, the light turned on. "Pakistan, take my soul with you," she said. And she said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to Karachi." And she said, "You must go to Hyderabad." But I didn't go that time, but it was really an amazing experience for me, because I went to this interfaith conference, which was extraordinary. It's the only one they have in Pakistan. 1 minute before it began, they told me, "You're the keynote speaker." Oh, okay. Anyway, it was really wonderful. And then I went down to Karachi. And there was a little center in Karachi in those days. And they took me, the sisters from Karachi took me around. And I first went to Brahma Baba's home, beautiful home called Gulistan, which is like the place of flowers, the land of flowers. And it was owned by Pakistan's top fashion designer now, and he was in New York. So the lady who was the caretaker, she showed me all around this house. Because Baba actually lived, the courts wouldn't allow Baba to live with the sisters, Mama and the Kumaris. So Baba lived with his family there, 2.5 kilometers from Kunj Bhavan, and often Baba would walk. He would walk to Kunj Bhavan. And then we went to Kunj Bhavan, and Kunj Bhavan is the most extraordinary place. When they had to leave for India, it actually became a hotel, and then it became the Russian embassy, and now it's a school. But when I went into that place, I can't describe the feelings of love that I felt in that place. And somehow the whole beginning of this yajna fitted in. Somehow I understood. I just got the feeling. And the only way I can describe it, I just think the greatest love affair of eternity was played out in this building in the suburbs of Karachi. Because my sense is that Brahma Baba absolutely fell so deeply in love with Shiv Baba that he just left absolutely everything. He was like besotted, I would say. I don't know what other word to use. He was just so deeply in love with Shiv Baba. And I often feel it was the greatest love affair of the whole cycle, this incredible love. He just fell so deeply in love. And in a way, the more I go on in my Brahman journey, I feel that's the method, because there's nothing more natural than falling in love. I think our devotional sanskaras of battling and fighting, and it's really Baba's way is just to understand that Shiv Baba's the most beautiful being. And in a way, this whole life is just to completely fall in love. And automatically that just took Brahma Baba beyond so much. Because in 1980, I went to Kolkata with Daddy Ji, and we had a big program in the Queen Victoria Memorial. If you've been to Kolkata, it's an amazing part at the heart of Kolkata. And before I get into sharing about Baba's shop there, the night when we were there, they used to, in India they have surrender ceremonies of Kumaris. The night before the surrender ceremony, Daddyji said, it'd be nice if a few of you foreigners were there too. She said, Charliebhai, will you surrender? I said, why not, Daddy? Anyway, all these Kumaris were sitting on the stage. Each one had their own gadi, and a few of us from foreign, we had to sit on this gadi, like a yogi. And there was a huge picture of Shiv Baba. It was on a big stage behind us. And they put a little thread from the back of our head up to Baba. So we were all sitting there. It went on for 6 hours. I really became a true yogi that night. But it was an amazing experience. But I went with Dada Anand Kishore. And Dada A.K. had actually married into Brahma Baba's family, and he worked in Baba's business. And Baba, the market in Kolkata, where Baba has his shop, when we went there, it was still the same. And so Dada A.K. was saying, I was on this counter, Dada Vishwa Kishore was there, and Baba used to be sitting there. But while we were there, there was a lot of Sindhi jewellers in this building. And we went and met other Sindhi jewellers. And one of them brought out a photo album of the 1930s, those days. And there was a picture of Dada Anand Kishore. Who met Dada A.K., can I ask? He only left his body in 2002, I think, but wonderful brother. And it was a picture of him, and he was in his latest sort of fashionable clothes from London. You know those shirts that had their, like this? He was leaning on his Mercedes-Benz. And it really made me realize how they were very fashionable, very well-to-do people. We tend to feel that they were all yogis from the beginning. But it just gave me an insight into really how Baba just left everything, fell so deeply in love with Shiv Baba. And in a way, the love that Baba had, Bap Dada, flowed into the Dadis, it's flowed into us. And this is really like, I feel the whole story of Sangam Yuga is this shedding or spreading this incredible love, this purity of love that only Shiv Baba can give us. And I've had the fortune over many years to be a part of the RC group. And I just say that because, a lot of people feel sorry for us because we have long meetings. But actually it's incredible company, because Daddy would always be in our meetings. And then, Moini, Didi, Gentiban, all of them are there. And once we were meeting and Daddy Janki, she just stopped in the middle. I can't remember what we're talking about. And she gave us drishti, each one. And her eyes were like little light bulbs of love. When you can almost tangibly see the feelings just radiating from her. And it went on for a long time. The whole hall, the place, the room just filled with these incredible vibrations. And when it stopped, she said, it's love that makes me move. It's love that takes me beyond all my limits. It's love that's helped me face every challenge. It's love that's made me tireless. And she said, learn how to draw true love from Baba. And ultimately, to me, that's the only quest in this life, because my experience is embedded in Baba's love is so much power, so much inner strength that you can face anything, you can deal with absolutely anything. Do you feel that? Really, to me, the great power is Baba's love. And if I really reflect on me, because what I really love about this life with Baba is you're always observing yourself. That sort of gentle observation of your own inner process. And I notice when my heart really feels that love from Baba, I feel so easy. You know, that sweet feeling, so relaxed, so self-accepting, so accepting of others, the scenes of drama. You know, it just all flows when the heart is full of love. It seems to turn the right key to open out all the other qualities in the soul. And definitely when I feel that love from Baba, my attitude to others is a lot more compassionate and kind and understanding. And on the other side of the coin, that if the heart doesn't really hold that love, taste that love, feel that love, there's a restlessness. There's a restlessness in the soul. And I feel that's when, you know, all those feelings come that are, you know, people don't really recognize me, support me. They don't really give me opportunities. You know, all that mentality of feeling really a bit unloved and not fully respected and valued in the divine family or in life. And sometimes I have the thought that in the whole of eternity, the purest love is available now. The highest quality love that the soul can experience. And to me, that's the pinnacle human experience, is to taste that love. I think it's the highest human experience. And the purest love is available now. And I often ask myself the question, because I often find when I remember Baba, I just love to sort of ask myself the heart honestly, am I really tasting that love? Because to me, it's like the key that opens up the higher self, my sense of self-value, your motivation, your enthusiasm. It's just the key that unlocks the beauty in the soul, that quality of love. And in the Gita, you know how it says, and I often think of this too, out of millions, only a few recognize me. And out of those few, only a handful understand me as I truly am. Here we are. How much have I recognized Baba? How much have I recognized Baba's love? How much am I really experiencing that love? Because to me, honestly, it's the pinnacle experience. And when I really taste it, there's no challenge you can't face. There's no, whether it's a challenge from here or a challenge out there, that, you know, it embedded in that love, as I was saying, is just so much strength and so much spiritual power. And if I reflect on, you know, a lot of my meetings with Baba, my first meeting with Baba, actually, when I came into Gyan in London, I was only in Gyan a few months, and Daddy Janki said, you should go to Madhavan to meet Baba. I think she thought, get him there before he runs away somewhere, you know. You know, like I was 22, and I went to Madhavan. It was in December 1975. And the first meeting was in the History Hall. And there was much less people than here, maybe 60, 70 people. And, you know, honestly, I was so new, just a few months in Gyan. And the Muli finished, and there was 3. The double foreigner season was 3. And it was me, another Australian brother, and a sister from Cameroon, an African sister from Cameroon called Vera. She was a real Shiv Shakti. And we sat in front of Baba, and Baba gave long drishti. You know, he'd always meet through the eyes. And I had an amazing experience of Baba's drishti, like a laser beam that went so deep into the soul and like scanned the memory track, you know, like scanned the sanskaras. And I almost felt his drishti fell on the original me, the elevated me, the deity me, whatever you would call it. And he massaged that to the surface and introduced me to who I was. And honestly, something changed in me that night, something shifted. And it was like Baba gave me the gift of self-respect, because I think all of us walk into this life with low self-esteem. Let's be real. Sometimes lower than low self-esteem. It's the human battle of this time at the end of the cycle. And just what I realized is that I was seeing myself here, and Baba saw myself there, saw me there. And who sees, was my vision right or Baba's? It's Baba's, isn't it? And it really taught me the addiction to this limited vision on the self. And I use that word absolutely purposefully, because it's the most powerful addiction to break down in this life. No matter how much I listen to the Morley I practice, sometimes I'm so addicted to a limited, low vision on myself. And sometimes I feel that if I'm Baba's child and I'm still having lack of self-respect, have I really recognized who's teaching me? Have I really recognized? I don't think so, because when I really recognize deeply, it's my duty to step into God's vision and step out of the attachment to I'm not good enough, I'm not pure enough, I'm not worthy. That is probably the most powerful thing that most of us have stepped into this life with. And really, it was almost like Baba's love gave me that incredible gift of self-respect. And then Baba asked me 2 questions. I'd been in Gyan for 2 or 3 months. Daddy had sent us quickly. Baba said, "Do you have one Shiv Baba and none other?" And I went, "Yes." You can't say no to Baba. I probably should have said no. And then Baba said, "Are you stable on drama?" I went, "Yes." And in a way I realized Baba's not saying that's who you are, it's if you make effort, that's where you can go. But it was really amazing, and I think that just the experience of Baba's love. And once I actually went to New York when Didi Manmohini went there in 1980. I was sitting in Sydney. 2 days before Didi Ji was going to New York, Daddy Janki rang and said, "Charliebhai, I think you should go to New York." I was in Sydney working. And I said, "Okay, Daddy, I'll try." So I got leave from work, bought a ticket, and I flew to New York via London. It took me like 40 hours. And on the way back from there, it's a lot of stories I could share about that, but I went to Madhaban. And one morning, all the Daddis had come for a meeting. And there wasn't a scheduled meeting for Baba to come and meet them. And Daddy Prakashmani, remember how Daddy Ji used to read the Morley? How entertaining. And so Daddy Ji was reading the Morley, and then she said, "Look, all of Baba's beautiful children here. Baba should come and meet you." Then she'd read a few more lines. "Baba has to come." She was going like this. And at the end of the Morley, she said, "Gulzar, come." So Daddy Gulzar, being so humble, came and sat, went into trance, and Baba came. And it was an amazing scene. You know how some scenes are just permanently etched in the intellect, because Baba said, "I haven't come to speak the Morley. I've come to fulfill the love of the children." And each of the Daddis, I was just sitting right in front, each of the Daddis lay across Baba's lap, and he stroked them and patted them and hugged them. And just watching that scene, I realized why they became like they were, because Baba's love pulled them beyond their body consciousness, literally. That love is so powerful, it just pulls you beyond your old stuff. And that's why I really feel, this is the real method of Raja Yoga. The real method is to understand the beauty of Shiv Baba and make him your beloved, your lover in this life. And that's when I think it all starts to fall in place. when we really taste that love. And I was just, the way Baba, each one was a different personality, and the way Baba worked with each of the personalities, loving them, hugging them, cuddling them. I was waiting for my turn, but it didn't happen. Anyway, really, really wonderful scenes. And I remember once too that one sister in the meditation hall, and the meditation hall's probably a little bit, well, it's quite a bit smaller than this hall. And one night we had been meeting with Baba, and it was the time that Baba would start, feeding Borg, and they would feed Baba and so on. And then Baba was taking leave. You know how Baba would, Daddy Ji, Neveba would sit in front, and Baba would give drishti to the whole hall there, and then he would go. And he was giving drishti, and he stopped. And he called this sister, and she was absolutely in the back corner. Baba had picked up a vibe that she wasn't happy in one way. And he called her in front. And honestly, I saw how the Supreme Surgeon just somehow pulled a thorn out of someone's heart. Whatever was in her heart, I don't know, but Baba gave her so much love. And I observed, because I was sitting on the side, you know how the face expresses the soul? It was like she came in this long face, and Baba was giving her love, giving her praise, telling her virtues, and I could almost see the life coming back into her face. And it was absolutely amazing. And I just saw the compassion of Baba, knowing that we've been through half a cycle. It's been a tough journey for so many of us. And Baba was so compassionate, the way he just pulled that thorn out of that sister's heart. And another time I remember there was a brother who came to Madhaban who wouldn't smile. The whole time he just wouldn't smile, and everyone knew it. And when he went to meet Baba, the whole hall was watching. It was amazing because, Baba would start to praise him and say things, and it was like Baba wouldn't give up. It was so good. Once again, it was just like you could see Baba's compassion, that this soul had such a hurt in his heart. And Baba kept going, and finally he smiled and the whole hall. It was such a fantastic scene, how Baba, I don't know, the way he would work and the way he would help. Even once for me, I had moved, went from London back to Melbourne, and in 1980 I was asked to move to Sydney. And when I moved to Sydney, there was a brother's house there, and there was a few problems going in the brother's house. Anyway, I went to Madhaban, and I was in the history hall, and it was our time to meet Baba. And when I sat in front of Baba, he gave me drishti, and the first thing he said was, "Is everyone happy with you?" I didn't answer the question. And then Baba was so fantastic. He said, "Don't worry, some aren't happy with Baba." And he went on to say that some feel, Baba met this one for 10 minutes and me only for 3 minutes. He went to such a length to make me feel okay. It was just an incredible thing to watch how Baba did that. Because, I really think accessing his love, and to me, in a way, what is meditation? When we teach it to people outside, we give a very technical explanation. To me, at the heart of it is sitting in front of Shiv Baba and allowing myself to be completely loved to the core of my being. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is observing where I block that love. Where do I block? If I'm sitting in front of divine love, pure love, perfect love, the love that all of us in this hall have searched for half a cycle, and I can't feel it. Why? And don't panic, because to me this is the deep work. Because this sense of unworthiness, this sense that I'm not pure enough, I'm not good enough, this is like a wall that I've built around my heart sometimes. And this is the deep work, to feel it's my right. It's my right as a child of God to absorb 100% of the love from the ocean of love. And if I sit in front of Baba, and even tomorrow morning, if we practice this, and just relax and allow myself to be completely loved. I can't feel it. Don't panic. Just keep relaxing and opening. It's my right, because that love will start to reopen the account of self-respect. That love will start to heal me. That love will give me the confidence and strength I can really change. That love is the great power of this spiritual life. And so to me, meditation is just allowing myself to be completely loved by Baba. And I find that when I feel that, my whole perception of everything changes. You know, it's like, I think you start to see through the lens of Baba in such a sweet way. So what is meditation? Allowing myself to be loved. What is knowledge? It's seeing where I block that love and really doing this is the deep work, that we have these beliefs about myself, the belief that I'm inferior. Even sometimes we are so attached to that belief. This is the really deep work, to unpack and rid myself. The belief that I'm not good enough, the belief that I'm not pure. Because this belief has been recorded in me for many births, it's so strong. Even as a long-term Brahman, we hold on to this attachment. And that's why, to really rid myself, step out of that and step into God's vision. Because sometimes I feel there's like 4 visions on the soul. There's the vision of the world. We all know that. In 1 second you're judged and labelled. We've all experienced that. There's the vision of others. And because people lack self-respect, often their vision, their attitude is not loving or respectful. We've all experienced that, haven't we, in life? It's a part of life, where people look down at you, people criticize you. There's the vision of myself on myself. I would say this is the most influential thing in my life, the way I see myself. And a lot of people, I've heard Brahmins complain bitterly sometimes, this person doesn't like me, this person opposes me. It's nothing compared to the vision I often have on myself. And I sometimes think we put myself in a straitjacket of what I'm not. You know, I can't do this, I've never done this, I'm like this, I'm shy, I'm not good enough. And it's like I'm so attached to that perception. Baba says, child, you're a world benefactor. Child, you're an ancestor soul. Child, you're an angel. And we say, no, Baba, no, I'm not. You don't know what I'm like. It's actually Baba who knows what I'm like. It's me that is so attached. And it is an attachment. It's an addiction. Even after so many years as a Brahmin, I can't step out of this prison that I put myself in. And this is what a really knowledgeful soul will step into God's vision. It's my duty. And let go the limited vision on myself. And sometimes I love to just take drishti from Baba and just feel where Baba sees me. Just like when I first met Baba, I could feel Baba sees me here, because that's the truth. My drishti on myself is not the truth. though we often think it is because we've been sitting in this place of low self-esteem for so many births. It is so powerful. And what I learnt about all those original sisters, all those daddies, is that they had the courage to step out of their old vision and step into Baba's vision. Step out of that low self-esteem and really step into the vision of Baba, which I really think is the method of Raja Yoga. So what is service? I remember there was one sister in Australia who was a politician. She used to come to our centre. Her name was Kay. And once at a call of time in Australia, Daddy Janki said to her, Kay, you should become the daddy of Australia. And Kay was a politician, right? She said, well, okay, Daddy, what's the job description of a daddy? And you know what Daddy Janki said? Oh, just love everybody. Is there a better life? Really, is there a better life? I don't think there is. You look at the daddies, they just give love, and then what do you receive? You know, you get the blessings of love from all sides. And one thing which I've often shared in the context of this is that once I went to Shakti Nagar in Delhi, where Jagdishbhai used to live. Who met Jagdishbhai? Oh, most of us, wow. And I had a lot of questions, and I wanted to ask him some questions. And he said, I'm busy, I have half an hour. So I said, okay, great. We talked for 4 hours. And I remember one thing he said to me, and it's always stayed with me. The cycle is a love story. And he said that the golden age is a world of love. And I don't think we can imagine an atmosphere when there's no concept of difference. There's no concept of you and me, us and them. We all belong. We're just all connected. We're just this huge family. It's so different from now. But what he said is when we come to the Copper Age, it's not that we stop loving. We just love the wrong things. And he said that when we love my body, the self as a body, it becomes ego. When I love the bodies of others, it becomes lust and attachment. When I love material things, it becomes greed. In fact, all the vices are is misdirected love, just perverted love. And really, in this confluence age, I think sometimes, what are we learning? What is the curriculum in this spiritual university? It's just, Baba teaches us what is true love, what is accurate love, how to love, what is the right way to love, and then everything falls into place. And once Baba said, true love is to love that which always exists. What always exists? The Supreme Soul, either soul and souls. And really the law says when I attach my heart to anything temporary, I will suffer. Because I attach my heart, I fear losing that. Whether it's my body, whether it's my family, whatever it may be. And in a way we're in this incredible university where God is teaching us how to really love accurately. And so Baba's teaching us to transfer our love. And that's all this life is transferring our love, redirecting our love. That's all we have to do, from temporary to eternal. As I was saying, as soon as I love anything temporary and I become attached to that, I build fear and insecurity into my life. And transferring love from physical to spiritual, from love based on emotion to love based on truth. It's a big difference. You know how Baba says to have a loving intellect. That's love based on truth. That's what Baba does. One with a loving intellect will love you when you're good and will love you when you're fluctuating. But when there's that emotional love, one day they love you and the next day they can't stand the sight of you, you know. And that's the body-conscious world. It's made people so confused. Sometimes I'm loved and valued, and then the next day they don't even want to know me, you know. And it's created havoc internally. But this love based on truth is, I know your value, and that's what I see. No matter how much you fluctuate, I'm going to see the beauty in you. There's one brother in London that I started with, and I remember him telling me, he gave himself the title, it's quite a title, the most negative person in the world. It's a pretty big title, isn't it? And this brother said he'd come along to the centre and he said he'd just having storms of Maya. What am I doing this for, you know? But Daddy Janki saw his value, and he said no matter what mood he was in, she saw beyond it and saw this good part. And he said it was her faith in him that enabled him to come out of that. And when you meet this brother now, he's one of the most stable, peaceful people you could ever meet. And so this amazing education. And Baba taking us from dependent love to pure love. Because literally I think, love the right things and I will become pure. That's all I have to do. Love accurately and automatically I will become pure. And so when I loved Baba as a soul, and I remember Daddy Prakashmani, Gentiben may have told you that in 1968 they had a seminar. Brahma Baba called them to Madhaban to have a seminar on remembrance. I really love that. Do you remember that story? And they all sat around in the history hall, what I heard. And Baba went around and to each of them, Daddy, how much do you remember Baba? Daddy, how much do you remember Baba? How much do you remember Baba? When it came to Daddy Prakashmani, who was in 1 year going to become the head of the yagya, she said 1 hour a day. I felt so good when I heard that. I relaxed. And then Baba praised her for her honesty. Because I feel there's two types of love. There's an indirect love, which is like a devotional love based on the belief. And quite frankly, I think many of Baba's children are in love with the belief God's the ocean of love. Or there's the direct love, the spiritual love, the love of the yogi, the one who becomes the bodiless soul and absolutely immerses in the unlimited ocean of love. And to me, you know, the most powerful point of spiritual knowledge is to have all relationships with one Shiv Baba. It was the first question Baba asked me. To me, there's no more powerful point, because when I fall in love with the one who's incorporeal, egoless and viceless, what do I become? What do I become? I become like that. But when I love Baba, but I hold on to dependent human relationships at the same time, a subtle thing happens, that each time the thread of my intellect goes to the bodily being, my family, my children, I give power back to my body consciousness. You know, I remember Baba in 1 minute, and the next minute I remember the subtle thread connects to that bodily being. And so I reinforce that sanskara, that body consciousness. And I really believe it's one of the reasons why some of us feel, I'm a Brahmin for so many years. I love Baba, I follow all the principles, I do service, but I'm not really moving forward, because my observation of the souls that really flower, they really flourish, they bloom, you know, that they have all relationships with one Shiv Baba. Fundamentally, this is what Raj Yoga really is. Of course, I love the family, I care for them, I do everything. But my whole heart is for one. And when we're like that, I think we win God's trust. God begins to trust me because He knows He's the main influence on me. I won't be influenced by opinions and people and all that. I'm fully under the influence of one. And to me, that's what it means to follow Srimat, is to put myself fully under the influence of one. This is the time at the end of the cycle to really do that. And I think really, we asked Daddy Prakashmani once, why did Baba make you the head of the yagya? Because actually at that time others thought it could be other sisters. Didi Manmohini was definitely, they felt, but they weren't sure. And she said right from the beginning, I had one Baba and none other. And that's really why Baba made her the main instrument. And so loving Baba as a soul, loving myself as a soul too. And really I often mention in public talks something which Baba said once: children, for spiritual progress, let go the eye of arrogance and the eye of disheartenment and emerge the eye of soul consciousness. And I often feel that when I'm body conscious, it gives birth to the eye of arrogance, and this eye, I feel, is it's born out of thinking of myself as a body. And I often feel that when this eye is ruling, the eye of arrogance, I compare with others. And I think I'm okay, I'm a bit better. But when it comes into my feelings, that's when I feel so easily insulted, disrespected, not valued, excluded, sensitive. I think whenever I'm feeling a bit insulted, excluded, hurt, know the false eye is ruling my inner system. I'm being deceived by my own body consciousness. And yet still, after such a long time in Gyan, we still point the finger at somebody else. We still do that, but it's actually me, because the false eye is ruling in my inner system. But that's just a cover for the eye of lack of, the disheartened eye, as Baba called it. And this eye also compares with others, but always positions myself as inferior. I'm not good enough. So I compare with others, and I think others really don't appreciate me. They don't really value me. They don't really love me. And when it comes to my feelings, that sense of hopelessness, that I'm not good enough, depression, all those sorts of things come. And what I feel is that Baba's way is not to battle with my ego or lack of self-respect. But Baba's way, he said, emerge the eye of soul consciousness. And this is the deep work of Brahman life. Those first 14 years in Karachi was an incredible education in soul consciousness. And the more I become soul conscious, it's like my ego and my lack of self-respect have less and less power over me. But they did this deep, deep work of soul consciousness. And I think we're a bit superficial in that, really doing the deep work of soul consciousness and loving others as souls. When I was 30 years with Baba, Baba got us all to stand up in Diamond Hall, all the double foreigners who were 30 years. And Baba gave us all drishti, said some lovely things, and then he said, set a date for perfection. few of us went, how do you do that? And then we had a discussion, really, what does perfection look like? It's a sort of a nebulous term, isn't it? What's a really practical way? In the very next Moli, Baba said, perfection is to have loving feelings for every soul. And to live in this world with 8 billion different personalities and to have loving feelings, I mean, that's a pretty elevated state of being, and yet that's where Baba is taking us. And I'm at a point where I really feel, honestly, I felt some years ago that you move along this journey and you get stuck until there's one thing you really practice, and that's to see virtue in everybody. I feel it's an essential part of our change to educate myself the value of every single soul, the souls who love you and the souls who don't, the souls who respect you and the souls who don't, the souls who cooperate with you and the souls who don't. Baba sees virtue in everyone, and in the last few years of their lives, Daddy Prakashmani, Daddy Jenki, did you notice how they just saw the beauty in every single soul? That's real purity, actually. And I feel that it frees me from myself in a way, because what I've observed deep down, if someone is really difficult but I react to them and talk about it to others, what happens to my own relationship? Deep down I sort of know I can be better. You know? I know I can be better than that. And when I really tune into the value of every soul, we start to have that beautiful life of blessings. Because when I see your value, when I see your beauty, almost always you will give blessings in that way. And that's how the daddies often said what sustained them is that the blessings from the hearts of everybody. So this life is such a amazing life, but really I feel that the real seed is love. And that's the main method of Raja Yoga, I feel, is just to fall in love with Shiv Baba. So, questions? Okay. I've been going on for a long time and you've been extremely patient. But yeah, if anyone would like to ask something, make a comment, please feel free. Or do we have a microphone so we can hear? Yes, there is a mic.
Om Shanti. I was just having this thought where in 1999, in October, I went to Madhaban, and with a very heavy heart and feeling very, not depressed but sad. And in 1998, my mother, Lokik mother, had left the body. And I was on my way to Madhaban, but I was in Bombay, and then from Bombay I left and came back home. And when I was in Madhaban and we were meeting Baba on the stage, this feeling was so heavy, and just that second drishti that Baba had given, like I just flew. And I had this feeling of just liberation. It was so powerful. So just to know that Baba Baba's drishti, even if it's for a second, it's so powerful. So, very beautiful feeling, and it's how powerful that drishti was. And you were giving that example of Baba's drishti and the love. So, that love is like, you can underestimate it, but that feeling was so profound.
Thank you. Such a beautiful story. Have you heard Nevebai's story? One of his famous stories, that he was very new in Gyan in Mumbai, and one of the daddies there, Pushpashanta. Who met Pushpashanta daddy? She was the one who used to offer borg, and when she was offering borg, she'd get the flowers and the borg and throw them around the room while she was in trance. But she gave him some money to buy some fruit for the borg. And on his way to do that, there was a little two-up game happening and on the side of the road, and he watched it, and then he gave some money and he lost. Then it sort of hit him, oh my God, this is Baba's money and I gambled it. And he felt so burdened by it, and he thought, I've got to go to meet Baba and tell him what I've done. Literally, he took the train to Madhuban, and he said the whole way I was so heavy, thinking, what's Baba going to say? And he said that he sat in front of Baba, and Baba's drishti did the same thing, was of so much love for a few minutes, and then Baba said, yes, child, what is it? And he said he'd forgotten. He said it was just that experience of Baba's love. You know, sometimes we're experts, aren't we, in becoming so heavy about certain things. And this is what I do. If something is a bit challenging or a bit heavy, I just sit down like a little child, even smaller than a little child, and allow myself to be loved. Because that love just brings everything in perspective, because often we think ourselves into dark places, we think ourselves into hopelessness about a situation, and we think it's reality, but it's not at all. I've thought myself into these places, and Baba's love just grounds you, and it sort of brings you back into a real perspective, and it just becomes a lot smaller and not so difficult. So it's such a beautiful story. You know, Baba really knows how to touch hearts. And once Baba was taking leave, and they'd fed Baba the tholi, and once again Baba was sort of giving drishti, and he stopped. And he called over Muniben, this was in the meditation hall, and said something to Muniben. Muniben came back with a big katori of tholi, and Baba called me up and gave me a whole tin of tholi. And then Baba said, share it with your friends. And really, I've never been so popular in my Brahmin life as that night. Everyone wanted a bit, but it's like Baba just knows how to touch hearts and really, touch the soul when the soul really needs something special. Yes.
You said something so beautiful, that you make yourself smaller than a little child and take love. How would you describe taking love to be?
I think there's a deep relationship between love and ego. And ego is like body consciousness. And the law says, I feel, the more ego, the less love I taste in life. And often to survive in this world, we build up this facade of body consciousness. And so life is dry. We don't really taste the beauty of that give and take of love. In a way, a little baby is like egoless or relatively egoless. And it's almost like taking off all the hats and all the facades and all the self-image that we often build up to feel I'm something. Because we've attached ourselves to an image to feel, because sometimes we become so naked of everything and so simple, it feels that I feel a bit vulnerable. But the more I just become like that little child, like more like a baby, and feel Baba loving me, because my observation, seeing when all the daddies with Baba and Baba meeting individuals, his love is incredible for absolutely everybody. But I've also got to learn how to receive it. And that's the work I have to do. And as I was saying, I feel this addiction to unworthiness, which is what I sometimes imagine. Everyone's sitting in this room, we're the great buggets for half a cycle. Who feels they've been a good bucket? I can tell you, you have been. And what have we done? Every life, every year, every month, every day. Oh God, you're so pure, you're so great, and I'm so low and I'm so impure. You think when you've done that almost daily for 2,500 years, how deep is the samskara? I'm impure, I'm lesser than, I'm inferior, I'm weak. And that's the hurdle I have to step out of. That's the attachment to that addiction. That's why it is an addiction to this low vision on myself. And it's God's love that takes me out of that. And that's when you take drishti from Baba, feel how Baba sees me rather than how I see myself, because Baba's vision is the truth. And yeah, so it's really just, in a sense, preparing myself to be loved. And when you feel loved, you feel strong. You really feel strong. You can handle anything. It's my experience. So,
I don't see any hands.
have some meditation. Okay, so how long will we have meditation?
Just waiting for Borg.
Oh, Borg is coming, okay. So, is Brother Charles here? Well, you know how names are. The only person who ever called me Charles was my mother. And all my Lokik family called me Chas. And all my Lokik friends called me Charlie. And Charlie was the one that has stuck. Once someone rang up the centre and I was doing a program, and they said, how can a spiritual person have a name like Charlie?
This is Charles.
I'm Shanti. So this poem is entitled Faded Photographs. Our sweet welcome. Our seeds of thoughts were planted of this visit. Our thoughts were slanted towards the east. Today we take a panoramic view of faded photographs from sweet childhood memories, from being called Dear Swami, seated amidst your friends, sharing spiritual fragrance. Then the architectural dreams, your creative spirit, soaring, designs of time and space, later became inner architecture of your thoughts, words, feelings, and attitudes. Scaffolding of intrinsic kind, connected to the multiple flavors of awareness, the deep awareness of God and the self, a quiet fascination of its unlimited variations, the search through many communities, a lived experience, then the warmth of arriving on God's doorstep to these shores with jewels to share. Om Shanti.
Very nice. Can I just find out where everyone's from? Like which center and... Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be lovely.
So we start from Maputo. Souls from Maputo, please stand up. Okay, there were few more that wanted to come, but there was some drama unfolding at the borders, so they couldn't come, they had to cancel. Because there was xenophobic violence in South Africa.
Oh, really?
Okay, then we move this way to Botswana. Family from Botswana?
Wow. Welcome.
Okay. Then we go south and we go to Cape Town. All those from Cape Town. More are still coming. There's a few more coming still. The later flight. Then a new place, Brother Charlie. Kwaggerba. I can't pronounce it. Kwaggerbe. Port Elizabeth.
Can you repeat that again?
I get it wrong as well, so we're really in trouble. Okay. How you say? Quebeja. And there's a tick in between, a click in between. Quebeja, okay. Then we move upward to Durban. Everyone from Durban? Yeah.
Wow.
Durban. Okay, great. And then we have from Pietermaritzburg. Okay. Then we have from Newcastle. Okay. Then we have from Nelspruit. Come. Nelspruit. And then we have from Swaziland. Yeah. Okay. There's one other person supposed to come here. Yeah. And then we do Gauteng. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is the family. Okay, great. I did to Swaziland.
I did not stand for Durban because I believe I'm from there.
He's the accountant. Okay, so we'll have yoga and then for about an hour. Okay, great. Thanks.
To really appreciate Brother Charles's poem to Brother Charlie was because Brother Charlie started off studying architecture. So if you could get the little background of all of that, I think it was very well done. Thank you so much. And Belinda Bin was giving us a little highlight, because I feel when we get together we learn a little bit as well. So Kwabeka is Quebec is now called GP. GQ, sorry, GQ. So we don't have to call a P anymore. We say the people from GQ. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Is it? Can I? She was just asking me, how did I start? Is it okay? We've got some time. Have we? A little bit of time. So, where to begin? Well, I was I was born in Melbourne, and I think, I was quite a searcher, like a lot of us here, even. And I think his poem, Charles, somehow must have shared this, because my nickname at school was Swami. My friends called me, because I was sort of always into philosophy and things. But when you are a teenager and you see all the injustice in the world, and so I spent a lot of my teenagers years protesting and against all sorts of things, and but I went to university and I started architecture actually, but this yearning was really strong. So when I was 20, I took a one-way ticket to Kuala Lumpur, and I actually sort of travelled overland. It took me about a year and a half, if I remember, to London. But I often see that was my education, because it wasn't really a conscious decision, but I lived in religious communities. I lived with in a Sikh temple, a Gurudwara. I lived with Taoists, it's a Chinese religion. Yeah, I lived with them. I lived with Muslims during Ramadan. I went to the Ganges and dipped my toes, but that's as far as I got. I went to Dharamsala and stayed with the Dalai Lama in Dharamsala. And I went up into the Himalayas and lived with a guru for a little while. So it just sort of happened, and I went through Pakistan, Afghanistan. I remember going into a mosque in Afghanistan, and there was thousands of people going into this mosque, and I was going in. They stopped me and they said, "Are you a Muslim?" And I said, "No." And they said, "You can't go in." I said, "If you let me in, I might become one." They didn't let me in. But and then I went into Europe, and excuse me, I spent some time in a monastery in Belgium, a Christian monastery. So as you can see, I was sort of dabbling in many things. And I was working in London, and I actually had a job with the Royal Shakespeare Theatre Company. I used to work in backstage in the Royal Shakespeare Theatre Company. I'm not sure why I'm mentioning all this, but... And all of the actors had been to California on a tour. And they were all in, California was the beginning of a lot of New Age, and there was a lot of meditation and things going on. And I was dabbling in many things in London, and I used to go to different spiritual groups, the Spiritual Association of Great Britain. But also there was Aldous Huxley. It was like... They were like the cutting edge of psychotherapy. I was just interested in all the stuff of... And one day I went to the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain, and there was a sign there, BKGNT was giving a talk. I had no idea who that was, on meditation. And I had actually lived in a Buddhist monastery in the UK, in the country of the UK, and also with a guru in Kent in the south of. And so I thought, I'd like to learn, because I didn't feel I did very well in those places. And so I went along, and I think Daddy came with Gentiben. But Gentiben gave the talk, and Daddy just sat there, which is amazing when you know how much Daddy used to love to talk. But I think she thought, Gentiben speaks English, and she was giving the yoga vibrations. But when you meet people and they're familiar, that feeling like you know people? They seemed incredibly familiar to me. And I went along a few times, and they invited me to the Brahma Kumaris, the centre. And so I went along to 98 Tennyson Road. I always laugh. It was the world headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris, and it's about this big. It was so sort of cute. But living there was Daddy Janki, Sudesh Didi, and Gentiben. And Sudesh Didi gave me the course, and I think I was her first course in English. I was her guinea pig. And it just made so much sense to me. At the end of each lesson, Daddy would come and give drishti. And it made a lot of sense. And I think maybe I should backtrack. Because when I was a teenager, when I was 12 years old, my family sent me along for confirmation in the church. They weren't very Christian at all, actually, but they thought, send him along. And I, after maybe 3 months of going every Sunday to the confirmation classes, my dad said to me, "What have you learned?" And I said, as a very wise 12-year-old, "I think I'm an atheist." Which wasn't the object of the conf. I couldn't relate to God being that punishing, judgmental, authoritarian sort of personality. I just couldn't relate to it. I love Christianity. I love a lot of it, but it just didn't do much for me. And then as I was traveling, I became like an agnostic. I said, I'm open. I don't really know. So when I started to hear, it made so much sense who Baba was that. And I can remember one day I was walking along the road outside 98 Tennyson Road, and I was thinking so deeply, who is this Baba? And I just had this experience of time, like a pause button on time. And really I felt just absolutely the ocean of love. I just felt this connection. And I can remember the only thought I had was, I've come home. This is what I've looked for. And I don't think since that day I've ever doubted that this is where I belong. And we moved near the centre, and I used to live just over the road, over the road from 98 Tennyson Road. And we had some amazing experiences there. And I'll tell you one story that was a little bit later. The next year, in 1976, Daddy Gulzar did a world tour. And she visited virtually all the centres outside India. And when she was in London, there was a brother there called Vishnu, who was a key brother in London. But he had a heart problem. And that meant that he couldn't go to Madhaban to meet Baba. And the doctors wouldn't let him. So what was he going to say? Daddy Gulzar arrives in London. And he said, "Daddy, can Baba come and meet me in London?" And you know how Baba says in the Sakamoli, so he only comes in Bharat. But Daddy Gulzar is so humble, she said, "Okay, I'll ask Baba." So she went into trance and asked Baba, "Baba, will you come?" And Baba gave this answer: the children should sit in a yoga bhatti and Baba will see the atmosphere. So Baba didn't say he'd come, but he didn't say he wouldn't come. So we sat in a yoga bhatti for 2 hours. I can remember it was in July 1976, and it was in the centre upstairs in the Moli room, which was about the size of this stage, about 15 hours. And Daddy Gozar came, and she sat as she went into trance, and Baba came. Baba came. And in those days, sometimes Baba would come spontaneously, but he didn't speak. But this brother was sitting right in front. And Baba gave us all drishti, but so much. He came for 15 minutes. And you know what I learned from that? That really, if you are an obedient child of Baba, you know how Baba says Baba surrenders to those who... And really, this brother was such a special brother. And not long after, he left the body. But he just felt, imagine, when you really think the Supreme Soul came and met him for 15 minutes, how amazing was that? And then his wife was equally an incredible person, because a few years later they were quite elderly, and she had a heart problem and she wasn't going to last long. And she decided, I'm going to leave my body in Madhaban on the 18th of January. Please don't get these ideas in your mind. Madhaban doesn't want us to all go there and keel over. And anyway, she flew to Mumbai, caught a train, this is all on her own, up to Mount Abu, and 5 minutes past midnight she left her body in Daddyji's arms. It shows actually we have control over our death. We really do. You know, in the golden age, we're absolutely, until this day. You know, I think a lot of you know Roger Cole. You know Roger from Australia, he's an oncologist, but he's a palliative care physician these days. He's told so many stories, and I'm sure Raksha has the same as well, of people who the medical fraternity thinks they've only got minutes to live, hours or days. They'll live for 6 months, see a child, see somebody, and then they go. But that was amazing that she got to Madhaban, and 5 minutes into the 18th of January, she left her body. And yes. Really, the Yagya stories, they're just, one is the knowledge, isn't it? We all study the knowledge every day, but the whole story of Baba, when he comes, all the personalities, it's just amazing. And that's why when I think I went to Karachi and more recently to Hyderabad, it filled in so much. Hyderabad was absolutely amazing, because we met this historian when we were there, Dr. Zafar, a Muslim brother who's written the history of that time of Sindh. Wonderful person. Tamazin got in touch with him because she has done so much research into the beginning of the Yagya. And he was saying that at that time there was only 500,000 people in Hyderabad. And when all these young women started to come and sort of surrender to God, he said the upheaval it created in the society was huge, absolutely huge. And that's why it was Shiv Baba's direction that they moved to Karachi, because Karachi is a much bigger city, and then they had those 14 years in Karachi. But in Hyderabad we went, a few of you were there from, who was there with us from South Africa? Yes, here is. Yeah, there they are. We went on that walk on that long street with one of Baba's relatives, and Baba had a jewellery shop in Hyderabad. My memory of this was, he kept saying, it's just a few 100 metres. So we walked 200 metres, maybe a few more 100 metres. This happened about 6 times, do you remember? We walked kilometres, and we were wondering but we found Baba's shop, but it had been rebuilt. And you know what? I just thought it started in such a humble way. 90 years ago, just a few people in Baba's home coming And look what's happened now. 130, 40 countries of the world, millions of BKs from all backgrounds, all cultures, all religions. It's an amazing story, isn't it, when you really think? And just such a humble beginning. I found it really fascinating, just getting the feeling of Hyderabad. And one thought I had too when I was there, that at the end of the cycle, all the great souls who began the cycle, Brahma, Baba, Mama, the daddies, they were all born in this little town in India at that time, what became Pakistan. It's quite an amazing story, actually. But I think if, many Brahmins want to go on a tour of Pakistan, but I'm not sure how easy it is these days. But I really loved it, really loved being there and seeing everything. So shall we have some meditation now?
So we'll have some yoga now and then offer book. And then everyone will come forward to take some Toli blessings. And there's also journals that we have printed with a pen, so you can receive that as well. So we'll do that before you go for dinner.